Why aren't we taught how to process our emotion? I don't know, because it's really important. Emotion that's stuck inside of us can make us sick, can give us cancer, can give us all sorts of diseases. And not only that, it can really inhibit the quality of our life and how we live our life. So if we have lots of stuck emotion in us, then we're not going to be playing with a full deck. We're not going to be clear enough to see a lot of the things around us. We're not going to see opportunity. We're not going to see who we really are. We're not going to connect with people who will necessarily bring us what we want. We will basically keep playing out the same things that are stuck inside of us because, of course, we are a mirror. Whatever is in us, my cat just jumped in my lap. I love you. Whatever is in us will show up outside of us, and so we don't want stuck emotion inside of us. Unfortunately, no one really teaches us how to do that when we're young. Right, baby? Right. And so I'm going to go over just a couple techniques that can help you and, set you on the journey of emotional freedom. Now, there are lots of different ways to do this. And I'm just going to go over my favorites because that's what's worked for me. And I just want to preface this by saying I sucked at emotions. I grew up really, all of us are really sensitive. And so we feel people's stuff. We don't let things go. It just sort of festers in there. Normally, we're not the kind of people to get angry. And so, but stuff happens to us that'll make us angry. But then where does it go? It goes nowhere because we're like, oh, it's okay, it's fine, it doesn't matter, And that's not the healthiest of answers to situations like that. So when I was a teenager, and then even in my early 20s, I cried a lot. Just out of nowhere. I would just have a crying day and it would be horrible. And if you asked me what was wrong, I really wouldn't know. It was sort of just a release of the accumulation of stuff. And like a dam, you have this regular water level, but if things get too filled up, then the water has to go somewhere. So that's sort of how I dealt with emotions. I didn't know what to do with them, so I stuffed them all in there, and then one day they would all have to come out. And so I've learned a lot since then, and honestly, my life is a lot healthier and more vibrant. So here we go. My favorite way, which I actually learned from my friend Lana, who I believe learned from this group that her husband channels called The Creators. You've probably seen me post some of his channelings, Daniel Scranton's channelings. It's just really simple. They didn't make it up. I mean, I've read it in a couple different authors. I think Gary Zukav uses a really similar technique. I think his book, The Mind of the Soul, is excellent for emotional clearing and shadow work. And I'll put links to all this stuff below because I know I'm blabbing off a lot of things. Anyway, so this basic technique is whereby you acknowledge the feeling that you're feeling when you're feeling it, and you allow it to overtake you. You allow it its say, and then it will transform into just workable, usable energy. And so let's have a little scenario. I am out shopping, and someone cuts in front of me in line, and I'm in a hurry. But instead of saying something to the guy, I just keep it all inside, right? Like normally that's what we'd probably do if we don't have a really good reflex for expressing ourselves in that way. And so I come home and I'm still angry, it's still there. And what do? I'll just sit there in my car before I even get out of the car. And I'll feel it. I'll just say, okay, there's anger there. I'll observe it. I'll feel the sensation in my body. Maybe it's making my chest tight. I'll feel that. Maybe it's making my skin hot. And I'll just feel that. I'll observe it. I'm not playing into it with my mind. I'm not naming it necessarily. I'm not saying, oh, I hate that guy as I'm feeling it. My mind is pretty quiet. I'm just putting my attention on feeling the sensation that it's making in my body. And I'm watching it spread and I'm watching it grow because it'll morph. And it'll sort of feel like you are now becoming identified with the feeling. The feeling is growing so much and you're losing awareness of your body now. You're just aware of the feeling. I know it may not make sense to listen to the explanation if you haven't done it. So I encourage you to try it even with something small, like this would be a small thing of someone cutting in front of you. And so you're feeling the sensation, it's getting bigger, it's taking you over. And then all of a sudden it will go away. And what will replace it is this flush of pure potential energy. It's energy and it'll make you feel alert and awake, but it has nowhere to go without you telling it what to do. And so it's just pure neutral life force energy that gets released because you have now transmuted this energy. And here's what I believe to be true about this practice. So yeah, the guy who got in front of you in line is the one who triggered your anger. But I don't think that what you're doing is transmuting the anger that he gave you, because he didn't actually give you anything. He provided you with an opportunity to realize that you have anger within you. And so what you're doing when you're doing this practice of feeling it and transmuting it is that you are chipping off a piece of your internal anger iceberg. So we all have all of these emotions stuck in us, and like an iceberg, we're unaware of 98% of it, or whatever the real statistic is of what percentage of an iceberg is actually underwater and what percentage you actually see. So you get the gist here. Most of your, emotional body, you're not aware of what is in it. We all have all this crap inside of us that we're not getting out, we're not aware of. And when you do a practice like this to actually allow the emotion to speak to you, to be felt, to be heard, you're not only getting rid of the present situation and making that a clean slate, you're going back down in and pulling out stuff. And so you're chipping away at that emotional reserve and freeing yourself up greatly by doing that. So I like it, and I've noticed a really big improvement in how I work in the world, how I relate to people, my anxiety level, lots of things, lots of wonderful freedoms that I now have, where I before maybe would have been a little bit more bound up into myself. And yeah, I would highly recommend doing this when you feel triggered by anything. Sadness, trauma, fear of any kind, anger, frustration, whatever you would call it. If it doesn't feel good to you, you want to do this, and so you can release it and release more of it from your past. So maybe I can get Baby to do it later too. Like she regularly gets her frustration out and her pent-up anger by kneading her claws. That's moving her physical body to get out energy that's stuck in her. Just like how ducks and geese ruffle their feathers, it's the same thing. They're letting out that energy that's stuck in them. Now, a lot of people use exercise to do that. Kickboxing, running, anything that'll work up a sweat really will help you release the energy that's stuck in you because you're moving your body. You're changing your physiology. That works too. I used to go to the beach and throw rocks in the water because that felt good to me, and it felt like I was throwing my problems out. And then I liked the splash of the water, I liked, the throwing movement, and I liked to walk to the beach. Those things all helped. Another thing you can do that's really fun is based on the same premise, where you get a wiffle ball bat, and I got this one actually from, not that it's new to anyone, but I heard this on Max Simon's video. He calls it smashing, I think, but it's the same thing. He, grab a wiffle ball bat, and Baby's really into this video, by the way. Grab a wiffle ball bat and hurl it at your bed. Punch your bed, kick your bed, beat it up. because it's not going to get mad at you and it's not going to do anything back. But it's a great way to get out aggression. My friend Lana, she screams in the car, you know, just anything to get it out of you. It's not needed in there. It's not an asset to you to have in there, you know, for a rainy day. You don't need it. And one final thing, make sure that what you're feeling is actually yours. You know, we have so much stuff from our past that can be stuck that we can clear, but if you're just continuously channeling others' emotions, then this won't really do much of anything, because you're still going to have all that stuff inside of you that you need to let go of. So if you want to do it an easy way, this is from Access Consciousness, you can just say, who does this belong to? If you're starting to feel angry, frustrated, upset out of nowhere, then just say, who does this belong to? If you feel a lightness come over you, like it would be your yes, you know, if you use my yes-no method. If there's a lightness, if there's a lifting of the feeling, then it's not yours, and you just say return to sender. And it feels good, it works, so give that a try, and just pay attention to whose emotion it is and how you can get rid of it and more. So again, I'll put those links that I mentioned, all those links to other people's stuff down below. Study whatever feels good to you or not. You can always just use what I've mentioned in this post. And I wish you the best of luck processing your emotion, becoming a lighter being, becoming happier and more of who you really are. And lots of love. Bye-bye. Please feel free to share this video with anyone you think might be interested. And if you're not already on the list, go over to psychiclife.tv and get yourself on there. You'll get more readings, videos, and blog posts. Have a great day!